Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back to our program Reflections, and today we are discussing with a very special guest, Micheal Savage from the Royal Trinity Hospice, and he's been there for a number of years and working, striving to bring to the attention of our community where we are living that there could be a great need for some families that really need extra support. What does it mean to say giving you extra support? I bring back our guest, Micheal. Could you tell us that in your hospice, when you're saying you are giving support and you want every person, if I'm reading, it says living every moment. What do you mean when you say living every moment?
Well, I must share with you that I've been there almost 4 years now. But before I went to work at the hospice, I had never been in a hospice in my life. What I knew of hospices was that they were places only for the dying.
Another good point, because
Yes.
when you said you have never been to a hospice before,
Never.
that means I also only had been to a hospice after you invited me.
Yes, it's interesting, both of us. So it's been a new
Something new for
experience
both of us, yes.
for both of us, that we have learned, both of
And
us.
it made me realize when I visited you, it did occur to me, yes, there are many, many families that don't have this extra support.
That's right.
So now, when you say you're giving them this extra support, what else do you really are keen to bring to the community, especially the Muslim community? Because somebody may feel that you want me to take away my father away from me, from my home. You know, they say, like, as you said before, to replace.
Yes.
Are you replacing something? Or are you taking away something from the family? Or are you giving something to support the family?
Yeah, I think that's the big word, to be honest, to remember here. It's support. To give support to the family and to work with them, to respect them, of course, but support, care for, and work with them. So it's not replacing family. It's not going into somebody's home and saying, we know better than you do. It's to go in there and see what is the situation, how can we support you, especially our nurses who go to the community nurse specialists who go there. There may be also people can come to the hospice for some day services, what we call outpatient services. So some physio. So somebody needs to build up their strength a little bit, their physical strength. So they can come, there's a gym there, and I think you saw it that day as well. They may come and have a session there. Or they may come for fatigue. People sometimes with certain conditions experience a lot of fatigue. How can we help you managing that fatigue? Or people come for relaxation classes, or they come for breathing classes, people especially who have respiratory ailments. So how can we help you? What are the techniques? What are the things that can really help you? There are a whole range of classes which people can come to access. There is transport also provided if a person needs that. Bring you to the hospice and you go back home. So again, it's not replacing anything. It's not replacing anything. It's all about what is it you truly need right now.
So can we
and
say
how can we help you?
That there are many families and maybe many an elderly that are already living on their own and they could be isolated.
Yes.
It could be also, now normally we don't encourage to say, Mother's Day or Father's Day. We believe that every day is Mother's Day.
Yes.
So it does happen that there are, out of economic necessity, many young, couples, husband, wife, they are all leaving their homes, going to work, coming back very late at night. So what about the elderly, if they are left on their own? So it seems as if though part of your work is to support those who are living in isolation,
Yes.
or maybe they are your outpatient.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I think that's very true. That, of course, there may be a whole range of services in the community. There are already district nurses, of course, who do tremendous work and come to people's homes, or social services, or various meals, people providing meals, etc. Trinity provides us very
Speaking about
specialized
meals,
knowledge.
you just reminded me, what about the food?
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. At
Is it
the
halal?
hospice itself, it is halal, yes.
So when you say halal, it means...
So that's prepared in a specific way, of course, respecting people's religious beliefs, and to make sure that they can trust us when they come to the hospice, that their religious beliefs regarding diet, etc., will be both respected, understood, and carried out. And it's one of the big things, actually, at our hospice, food for everybody, because sometimes people, at a certain stage, if they're feeling unwell, they may not require large amounts. So their food requirements are often in discussion, of course, with the person. They may not want to see a whole plate of food. They may want to have just small portions. So things are prepared very much on a personalised, individual basis. And that's very important, I think, in the inpatient unit. Because, of course, it helps on many levels. The person feels comfortable, they feel safe, they're getting nutrition, they're building themselves up a little bit as well. So I would say that certainly to Muslim patients as well, people who come, those requirements will be, you will be asked and will be respected and delivered.
Yes, indeed. So the dietary, it's a very essential requirement for the Muslim patient, given that halal is of great significance.
Absolutely.
Also, you are what you eat.
That is very true.
So sometimes, yes, I think you're taking care, giving support, looking at a good healthy diet, all this is really crucial. But I was just thinking at the same time, what about if there is many, as you said, you reach out to the community, you have nurses, you have very skilled people who provide care, and reaching out to the communities. But what if somebody from the Muslim community, maybe, because sometimes somebody may feel more comfortable if there is a Muslim carer. Do you provide training, education? Somebody wants to be part of your volunteering team?
Yes, and that's something we're really working on. I mean, the hospice has, a huge number of volunteers who work in specific areas. Some of them, as I said, you work in the garden because they feel they have talents for that. Some people work on the inpatient unit. So they actually go to the individual patients with the meals. They will serve the meals, or they may bring somebody a glass of water. They may bring somebody a cup of tea or whatever they want. So we have inpatient volunteers. We actually have spiritual care volunteers as well. And we have volunteers in the cafe and, of course, in the shops as well, because one of our sources of revenue is the Trinity Hospice shops. But so if people watching say, you know what, I'd like to give 2 or 3 hours of my time every week to the hospice, we would be absolutely delighted if they would do that.
Yes, indeed. And because you invited me when there was a Muslim patient, and I met the patient. I've seen patient even dying at the hospice, because they were in that condition, and it was toward the end of their life. And you had shown that there is support, care, there is basic understanding of what the Muslim needs, especially at the time when one has to depart from this world.
Yes.
So the Imam coming in there and the family were very pleased that you do offer this support. So I think it's really useful that we do need more of volunteers, more people to be trained, more people to come and visit you at your center.
Yes, and more, I suppose, information.
More information.
Basically getting to know each other. It's a bit like what we said at the beginning. We got to know each other a little bit back in 2007. It's now 2015, so we're 8 years older, both of us. But, from that, we're collaborating, I feel, a bit more, getting to know each other, but getting to know the hospice. It was a journey for me to get to know it. Now you know certainly a lot more about the hospice and hopefully can tell other people about it. So often it's a question of breaking down the barrier of just information, of ideas we may have about a place. When you come in, I don't know what your first impression is, but when you come in, it's not like a hospital. Hospitals are absolutely very necessary places, so it's not like I'm saying they're not. But it doesn't look like that.
Yes.
It's very different because immediately you're able to see out into the garden. And then you see immediately the coffee shop. So it looks a very, I would say, regular kind of place. And of course there's the inpatient unit, which is very modern and new. It was built, about 8-9 years ago. And so it's very modern, a lot of glass. The rooms, of course, are absolutely new, modern, up to date. So it's kind of, I don't know, for a lot of people when they come, they feel immediately like, oh gosh, this is not as terrible as I thought. It's not as awful as I thought. And we get people who come directly from hospital. They may have been quite a long time in hospital, and then they find, okay, I can relax a little bit, and they feel safe. I think the big thing is people feel safe. They feel, okay, I can be looked after. I'm in good hands in a certain sense here. Here are people who will listen to me, speak with me. Here are people who will listen to my needs, like spiritual needs, like we have that prayer room. People who understand that. If I need to see the imams who be like yourself, they will know how to do that.
Yes, indeed, and it has been noted that you do take care of people's personal wishes, and also you do also take care of people from all different religions and different faiths.
Yes.
And there are people who have no faith, so it's all about humanity.
That's right.
So indeed, what we are reminded of, that for important to Muslim, as it is part of our religious duty to take care of those who are elderly, those who are weak, those who are sick. There is also a great reward for visiting a sick patient, and it is not always necessary for an imam to be present at the time of a person who is dying. If there is somebody who has a passion, who has a willingness, and he has a desire to bring about some relief to any person who is in the community, if you have that skills and if you receive that training, I think this is in itself greatly rewarding. Because the best of people are those who benefit other people, and we cannot even belittle any act of kindness. لا تحقرن من المعروف شيئا. Do not belittle any good, any action that you do. And we do not know that sometimes you reach out to somebody, you may not even know him, you only offering some support, some help, some care, some compassion, then that could be recorded in your book of good deeds. So the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I had reminded you in the beginning, خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ طَالَ عُمْرُهُ. The best amongst you are those who have a long lifespan. وَحَسُنَ عَمَلُهُ. And they do good actions. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لَا يَتَمَنَّيَنَّ أَحَدُكُمْ. That none of you should even have that wish to die. Why? Because every breath of life, any utterance, any word, any good action you do, it's all going to be recorded. The moment a person leaves this world, and that knowledge is only with Almighty, the Creator, everything comes to an end. Then it is the life of the year after. You and I, we have not been to the life of the year after. We are living in this world, and I like the saying, living every moment. Because every breath, every second is so precious. Once a person leaves this world, never again is going to return. So the Creator has given us this opportunity, and part of our, that hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when somebody is in such great difficulty and he cannot bear it anymore, then only as a last resort, the Prophet, peace be upon him, has given us a beautiful supplication to learn. Allahumma in kanat al-hayatu khayran li. If it is better for me to live, then let it me live. And if it is better for me to pass away, then only, if it is in your knowledge, then only you will make it happen. But we should not have that desire and wish to die. This is from the Muslim perspective.
It's a wonderful, because that's very beautiful, and I think it is, because surely at the heart of all great religious tradition is mercy. Yes. Mercy and compassion, especially towards the weak, vulnerable, the ill, those who are ill. If that is not there, and I think that's very much my experience of 4 years, now almost at the hospice, is certainly from the point of view of staff and volunteers, is that each in their own way, doctors, nurses, therapists, physiotherapists, etc., try to show great kindness, great compassion, great mercy towards people, to make people in a respectful way, dignified way. And it is a wonderful thing to behold, to see that.
Yes,
when somebody,
indeed.
our brother or sister, and we are all linked in some way in our common humanity, as you say, our brother and sister who is in pain, sometimes a great discomfort, to be able to relieve some of that, surely in the sight of God, is of eternal reward to do that. And that is the vision, I think, of the hospice. It is not, of course, to convert people to anything. It is ultimately about respect for the individual.
Yes, indeed. And that it is showing the compassion, the love, the mercy, the
Yes.
support. And in addition to that, what if somebody, for example, they want, they have nobody with them, they're alone, and they just feel that they need the support. How can they call up the hospice and say that we want to be referred?
Yes, they can do that.
Self-referral?
I mean, of course, if they have some kind of illness, if they are healthy and everything, then hopefully they will find, I don't know, some kind of centre, etc., day centre to go to. But if somebody is ill and has a life-limiting illness of the kind that we spoke about and are on their own, of course, they
That
should
means
contact.
if somebody is watching this program and your number is on the screen, they can just ring up and
Yes,
speak
they
to yourself?
And they can, well, me, but I suppose better to talk. Also, they can speak with one of the doctors there, etc. Or if they will eventually speak with one of the doctors there, and somebody will go and meet with them, or maybe they will be able to come meet with them and say, what is it that's going on for you? What is it that's important? Maybe some of it can be done by their, I don't know, through their local GP. Maybe there's something there. Maybe you don't need our specialist services. Maybe you do. And for some people, they enter our services, but then they don't use them until maybe 2 years down the line.
Yes, indeed.
And also another important part is bereavement. So after the person has died, let's say the loved one has died, then of course there is grieving for people. Not everybody, but some people need help with that. They just need a bit of support with that. Not everybody does. Again, that's something that the hospice offers. They will send you a letter, they will make contact and say, do you need support? The person may say, I don't need it now, but maybe, and the hospice says, okay, maybe in 6 months' time, a year's time, maybe 5 years' time, I will want it. And the hospice says, yes, okay, make contact with us then, and we will offer it. So I think that's wonderful. You don't have to access it in that moment. So again, it's after the death of a loved one. And often we have people, families that we've gotten to know, people we've gotten to know, their friends, families or carers, and they come back. There are events organised where they come back to the hospice. Of course, that can be difficult for some people. They come back to the hospice to see where they've come. Or for some people, it's been their first time. Their loved one was looked after at home. They've never actually been in the hospice building, and then they come and they see it. And we regularly have this. We have events. There was one in the summer. It's usually held in the month of May or June. There's a big one held. We can have maybe 120 people came to it this year. And it's just an event. It's nothing too serious. It's just we invite people to share a moment in a way.
Yes, indeed.
Together.
So it's like an open day.
It's like an open day.
So yes, so I'm very grateful to you, Michael, for sharing with us your important work that you are giving and how you'd like to support the work that you are already engaging in, supporting the community, the inpatients, the outpatients, the families that need support, the training and education. And I'm sure, I know you say everything is for free, but I'm sure your center also would need some support and some funding to help you continue this good work. So you should try and visit the website. And before I end, last word, I leave it to you to say your last words.
Oh, thank you. Well, I would say just to viewers, make contact with us. Come and visit us if you wish. Get to know us and see what we do. And you will be more than welcome.
Yes, indeed, and that was Michael Savage. He is doing a wonderful, great work there at the Royal Trinity Hospice, and I've been there myself, I've seen it, and I've met many Muslim patients there at the hospice, and we would like you, if you don't want to visit the place and you want to share even in the reward, then do at least try and support it in whatever you can. Michael has not asked me for you to fund the place. All he's saying that come and visit and see the place. And if you would like to earn some great reward, even if you want to give a donation to the place, that is entirely up to you, the viewer. May Almighty Allah Ta'ala make it easy for all of us that we living in this world, the challenges that we are facing, that Allah Ta'ala unite our hearts. And it is a clear message for all of us that you can be of any faith, but when we come to helping and supporting each another, we can have differences in our religion, in our beliefs, but humanity, the commonality is one. And that is what this message also is here for the viewers to understand.
Yes.
The Muslim community is facing a lot of challenges, and here is an example of how Micheal is still willing to sit and engage with me. He's not afraid to sit with me, I'm sure.
Absolutely not.
And I hope that we will all come together again and visit you at your hospice in the near future.
Thank you very much.
And that's all time we have for today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.